I first started venturing into gyms back in 2002, just as a off-the-street person, no experience, nothing about lifting weights, what did what muscle group was working, bicep curl, etc. And I was given programs by gym instructors who, looking back on no offence to them, were just off the street themselves with their qualifications. They knew it was not too much. And I always wanted to get into bodybuilding, but I kept getting the same routine, same programs, and unfortunately the same results. And to me that was most frustrating, disappointing. There was nothing specific.
Yeah.
Perhaps the biggest deficit of knowledge was nutrition, and back then I didn't realise how important nutrition was. I don't think they did either. And a lot of things that they were saying, drink this, drink that, were what you'd read on the labels, like it's a healthy, no fat-free muesli bar, when really it's got more carbs than a chocolate bar. And then when I moved to Melbourne, I thought, well, you know, I started working full-time. I thought, well, let's give this a decent crack. And I'd heard of Definition Gym, and I went there and I met Mark, and I thought, well, this guy seems to know what he's talking about. I'll take this further, I'll venture into this further. And it was a bit of an adventure, and it was a lot of fun, and got to see a lot, do a lot. The biggest thing for me with Mark, for me personally, in his training for me, was getting him to make me realise pushing me to my boundaries and pushing me beyond my boundaries, and then made me realise the limitations that I set on myself personally that I hadn't realised. I'll give you an example. When I first started, before I met Mark, I thought I could only squat 90 kilos. That was it. I wouldn't go beyond that because I didn't think I could do it. And then Mark got me and said, go 95, you take it slowly, 100, 110, 120, 130. And to me that was so important because it just made me more aware of the limitations I set on myself. And I wasn't aware that I set these limitations of myself. And when I came aware of that, I thought, well, okay, let's see what other limitations have I set on myself. And we got on the bench press, and I wouldn't go past 70 kilos, and he pushed me up to 95. When doing barbell upright shrugs, I could only get 100, and I trained with Mark, and within, I think it was 5 weeks, he got me up to 180. And that, to me, it just blew me out of the water. I was getting results, I was losing weight, I was getting ripped. I always wanted to get a six-pack, I never thought I could get it because back home, because I was seeing all these trainers that they just read the labels on like cereal boxes and say, oh, it's healthy for you, there's no fat, there's none of this, there's none of that, but it's full of carbohydrates and sugar. It's just as bad, if not worse.
What about supplementation? How has what sort of supplements have you been taking, and how have they been helping?
I've been taking zinc, magnesium, fish oils, cod liver oil and normal fish oil, branched amino acids and protein shakes.
Yeah.
I found taking zinc and the magnesium that it improved my quality of sleep. Like, I would fall asleep a lot easier because I often battle insomnia. Fall asleep a lot earlier, wake up in the morning and feel so much better, like more, I'm ready for the day, and that, to me, that was very important. Supplements before I met Mark was not something I really got into, and that because I didn't have a bar of soap. And several years back, I did try some supplements and that, and it was to prove this, prove that. But I just read what was on the box and I took these things and felt quite bloated, and I got muscular contractions over my liver, and got rid of those. It wasn't until I read Mark's book on supplementations that I understood what I should be taking and why I should be taking them and how they benefit me. And when I started taking them, I got the results that he praised that would happen and said would happen, and they did, and I thank him for it.
Beautiful, beautiful. You want to give us a flex? You look fantastic, mate.
Before I started training with Mark, I was just training like any other normal person, eating 3 meals a day, eating this and eating that, and not realising how bad it was, or how bad it was for me getting the results I wanted. And of course I didn't get the results I wanted, and that was more frustrating. When Mark got me from eating 3 to 5 meals a day and eating vegetables and good food and quality food and that, I dropped 5 kilos in the first 10 days. It was amazing. Mark was brilliant in he's training with me, not just making me aware of my actions, but making me accountable for them and saying, well, if you eat this junk, you're going to feel like junk and you're not going to get the results and you're going to feel more frustrated. And to me, I could see why I didn't. When I stopped eating the junk, I got the results I wanted. He made me take the biggest step I've ever had in my being in the gym and that in terms of my health and being fit and ripped. Yes. Another thing I'll say with Mark is one time I did a 10k run in that and I didn't follow his advice of eating some carbs beforehand. And I ran the 10k's and felt absolutely trashed, and when I got home I actually ate some ice cream because I was just carb depleted. Then the next Mark didn't have a go at me but told me eat some carbs before it, so I did that, and 2 days later I ran the same 10k after I put 200 grams of sweet potato right before it. And I'd never felt better in my life running the 10k. And I got in my record time, which was 49 minutes. So I have to thank the power of Tim and his guidance and training that he could do a lot for you.